Hi everyone, it's Luke, and today I'd like to talk a little bit about how I changed my legal name using a statutory declaration. Needless to say, this only really applies for English and Welsh law, but it's a process that I haven't seen a lot of people talking about, and compared to the price that it can be to get a deed poll drafted, it's relatively inexpensive. So, given that nobody else seems to be talking about it, I thought it might be something which would be helpful to other people. I should start by saying that what I'm talking about here are my experiences. I'm merely describing the process that I went through to change my name, and nothing that I say should be taken as legal advice. So if there's anything that's unusual in your circumstances or that you're unsure about, I'd strongly recommend consulting a solicitor. The process that I'm talking about is for people who want to change their legal name who are over the age of 18, so there's no kind of issue of parental consent being needed. So in the UK, there are two main ways to change your legal name. The first is what's known as a deed poll, and the method that I used is a statutory declaration. It's been about 2 years now, 2.5 years since I changed my name, so I can't remember the ins and outs exactly of why I went for a statutory declaration. But one thing that I would note is that there are deed poll services out there which charge, between £10 and £30 to draft the deed poll document, when in practical terms, a statutory declaration should set you back maybe £5, maybe a little bit more if a firm is going to try and charge you for certified copies from a solicitor. The only real difference that I'm aware of is that with a deed poll, you're able to do something called enrolling it, which basically means that you can leave a copy with the court, and if anything happens in the future and you need another copy, you're able to apply to the court to just get one that way. Whereas with a statutory declaration, there's always a risk that if your house burns down and your only copy is in there, obviously you've lost the proof of your name change. There are ways around that I'll come on to in a moment, but ultimately I think that's the key difference, just that deed poll is more widely publicised and that it can be enrolled, but that's by no means a deal breaker, as you'll see shortly. So in terms of drafting the statutory declaration, the government has helpfully put together a template which is acknowledged as acceptable by the UK passport services. So what I'll do is I'll leave a link to that in the description, but that's the template that I used in 2014. And given that it's still online, it's current as of today's date, which is the 4th of January 2017. What you essentially need to do should be relatively clear from the document, but the example that they've used is a woman who wants to change her name just from one female name to another female name. Your circumstance is going to be slightly different in that what you need to do is you need to replace all of the blanks for your old name with your birth legal name, we'll call it, and then you need to put your preferred name in the relevant sections as well. It's really just a case of reading the narrative and filling in your address where relevant, since the gist is basically, I'm currently known as this name, I live at this address, going forward I want to be known by this name, and I basically relinquish, any sort of circumstances where I'm going to be called by my former name, because going forward this is what I want to be called. What you then need to do is just at the bottom, there's a space for two signatures on your part, so you need to sign with your old signature for your birth legal name, where indicated, and then you need to sign again with what you want your new signature to be for your new name, again in the space just above where your new name is. The document then needs to be witnessed by a solicitor. So the best way of doing this in terms of the preparation is to absolutely proofread it multiple times, because the last thing you want is to change your name to an incorrect spelling. And then what I did was I got some gold parchment paper from Ryman, the stationer, really just to give it a bit of an interesting feel and make it look a little bit more high quality. So I recommend printing it on nice paper. You might choose certificate paper or something like that, which also helps to make it look a bit more official. So print off maybe 2 copies of that to be on the safe side in case you mess one of them up when you're at the solicitor's office. And then what you need to do is you need to make an appointment to swear a statutory declaration. The fee for this should be in the region of £5. I believe it's set by statute. But again, it wouldn't surprise me if there was a bit of variation. In any event, it really shouldn't be very much. So the swearing process itself is relatively straightforward. Basically what happens is you turn up with the document, you repeat a particular form of words after the solicitor, and then you've formally changed your name in the eyes of the law, and the solicitor will sign the document to confirm that they've witnessed you make that declaration. Usually the declaration will be made by swearing on the Bible. It is entirely possible to do something called affirming, which is basically making the declaration without references to religion, but the form of words for that doesn't seem to be quite as well publicised for solicitors. So if that's something that you're likely to want, if you don't want any references to the Bible, I'd suggest that you possibly advise the solicitor in advance so they've got more time to look up the relevant form of wording. From a legal perspective, it's of absolutely no consequence. It's just to hold you accountable to your creator if that's something you believe in, because you're more likely to uphold the oath you've made then. But it's entirely possible as an atheist, say, to swear on the Bible just for the sake of simplicity, and it's not going to have any sort of legal implications. So once that's been sworn and you've formally changed your name, one thing I'd highly recommend is getting a certified copy. Basically, this is just a photocopy made by the solicitor, which is stamped with the firm's stamp, just to confirm that it's a true copy and it accurately reflects the original. And the advantage of getting a certified copy is that you're then able to send the copy off to the Passport Service or the DVLA, organisations like that, without having to worry about the original getting lost in the post, because the certified copy is as good proof as the original. Any photocopy which hasn't been certified probably isn't going to be accepted, just on the basis that it's not been signed off by someone independent with their reputation on the line to say that it's the same as the original. In my case, I think I got 5 certified copies, but I definitely recommend getting more. 10 is probably a good number to have. There's no reason why you can't get subsequent certified copies made, but if you're going to the appointment anyway, it makes sense to get a few of them done at once. In terms of protecting your stat deck from being destroyed going forward, or getting lost in a house move, I'd probably advise keeping a certified copy, say at your parents' house, or somewhere else where it's being kept off site, so that if the original is destroyed, you've at least got the copy to go back to. One other question that I have been asked is about how you change your title. Unlike your legal name, which has a particular process for it to be changed, I'm not aware of any particular formality required to change your title. In my case, I previously went by Miss birth name, and then when I changed my name, I literally just changed the female name to the male name, and when I indicated to my bank that my name had changed, I just informed them that I also wanted to change my title to Mr. I had absolutely no issues on that front. Same with the DVLA and the Passport Service. Anyone really who uses titles. But it is worth knowing that at least there's not another set of formalities that you have to follow to get that changed as well. So I hope that answers all of the questions around this. If anyone has anything else that they can think of, please do drop me a message, and I'll be more than happy to try and help. Thanks very much. Bye.